Well, welcome to what is probably going to be the dullest and most short-lived photography playlist or series, and also the noisiest. 2 minutes. So we're currently doing a house sit. We're overlooking a beautiful, there's also a helicopter now, decided to fly around. It's been lovely and peaceful all afternoon. And now there's a helicopter. It's actually below me. I think there's a fire down there. Well, hang on a minute. Let me get a picture of that. 2 minutes. And now, just to make matters worse, I told you this was going to be an interesting vlog, non-interesting vlog. The house just below us here, has just put on its chimney, which means I'm now photographing through smoke as well. Oh, what a professional. 20 minutes away from sunset, and I think that sun's going to disappear long before that. I've actually got the big old long lens on because of what I'm trying to do. I was just sitting on one of the swings there. I was just sitting on the garden swing, and the graduation of contrast as the light kind of penetrates those mountaintops really got me going. So now I do think there is a chance that as that sun gets lower, we do have some high altitude clouds here, which could actually pick up a little bit of colour as well. 2 minutes. Pink toy, it's off. As we get closer to sunset, may pick up some of that light. This is also a very popular, busy flight path. So while it may not be natural, 2 minutes, they also could take on a little bit of that post-sunset colour as well. I just got hit on the ankles by a pink toy. Probably going to look to be, now I'm shooting on the X-T4. I don't have a long lens for the GFX, so no chance of doing that lovely kind of, at least in camera. Pepsi! No chance of doing that lovely kind of thin panoramic, but I'll probably do that in post. Thinking a square format and a panoramic format. Now I am shooting very much directly into the sun, so I may do a couple of bracket shots there as well. We've now temporarily banished the dog inside. Love animals. Just need a little bit of quietness for this. Actually, my thought process is maybe a little bit flawed. Unfortunately, there's a really dark hill that obviously is getting zero light on it at the moment, and it's just detracting a little bit from the scene. The third hill, if I was to exclude that, I would get 3 kind of peaks. The third hill at the moment is a little bit too bright, so it's kind of impossible almost to expose for that. An eyeball perspective, it looks really nice through the lens. That first hill is just too damn contrasting. So while that sun is still coming below the visible horizon, there's a beautiful blackbird. Now, apologies for all the ornithologists out there. Is it a regular blackbird? Is it a Spanish blackbird? No idea, but it's definitely a blackbird. There's also a barky dog, but there's always a barky dog. It's grand. Oh! And the barky dog made the blackbird go away. Yep. There isn't a blackbird in the frame. The blackbird's now up there. My God, what a professional. The blackbird is taunting me. Absolutely beautiful though. Not a bad soundtrack as well. Right, we're now starting to get slightly more common tones throughout the whole frame as that sun really starts to sink down low. So I think sunset in this area is about 10 past. Is about, better than barking dogs I guess, is about 10 past 7, but we will certainly lose the sun before that. So I've actually set myself up with a square comp. I still think that the most forward hilltop is a little bit too dark. Kind of maybe to save the shoot, maybe, is the fact that just in this one area here, that might have been caused by the jetliners that we're going across, but there is quite a lot, there's a much more high altitude cloud than kind of anywhere else. Yeah, not quite sure these are working, actually shooting into the mountains, into the sun. But the other issue I have is this setup here with the long lens and balancing it on here is not ideal, because I kind of set up the composition and then there's a slight movement. I really don't have the head for the longer lens. Excuses, Nigel, excuses. At the moment, I'm still getting a fast enough shutter speed, especially with the black magic that is image stabilization on the Fujifilm bodies and lens, to be able to shoot handheld, which is actually giving me a little bit more. Although then again, my hands are even shakier than the dodgy tripod, but it's at least allowing me to just play with a few different compositions. Not sure there's anything portrait, to be fair, but I mean, the sky is stunning. Right, so that sun is probably going to, got a 16:9 crop on here. It's going to pre-focus, and then I'm shooting at f9. A couple of handheld shots just to, I mean, my preference would have been kind of for the whole point of this image was multiple depths of contrast, but sadly I think the forward facing mountain was just too contrasty, so I'm having to work with either 2 or 3, and I just don't think it's working as well. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait till the sun disappears behind the mountain and hope that some of this kind of picks up, and maybe switch across to the GFX quickly for a couple of shots there. But we'll see how things develop. Right, that sun has now slipped below the visible horizon, which is about 6 minutes away from sunset down in the village. So now we wait and see whether or not these clouds will take on some colour. Unfortunately, the wide angle or wideish angle lens that I have on the GFX is going to give us quite a lot of shadow, but thankfully with the high megapixel and the medium format sensor, I might be able to crop in a little bit. I'm shooting a 65:24 comp, which hopefully will allow me just allow a little sliver of the mountains and most of the frame devoted to the sky. So fingers crossed. Now, because I have the mountains in my way, I can't tell whether there's, normally if you're shooting at the coast, you can look out to sea and you can quite often tell that sun's going to dip below a bank of cloud and kind of dull things down. I can't see that, but I'm starting to think that that's what's going to happen. I've been known to be wrong before, and of course, if you don't know, just hang around anyway. What's the lose? But I think some of the high altitude clouds above me should have perhaps taken on a little bit more colour by now. As I say, just needs a little gap on that horizon, and in fact 2 minutes. So I'm actually just checking to see what time sunset was in Malaga, which of course is further to my west and on the coast, and it is in 1 minute's time, which means that that sun, from my perspective, really has set. So now we're just hoping that maybe there will be a bit of an afterburst, because there are some beautiful clouds around, starting to take on a little bit of colour, but I'm still not completely optimistic. Yep, I think it's a bit of a bust. Not a bust, it's still a beautiful evening to be out watching the last embers of the day. Bank of cloud right above me. You'll never be able to make this out, but hang on. You probably can just make that out there. So I was kind of hoping that that was going to take on some real intense colour. I just don't think it is. I think that's it. And maybe this will be the one and only in this series. Nigel tries to make images from the balcony of a house. It's still really beautiful to witness. Sometimes you've got to take a chance, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but that's okay. Well, actually, now that that sun has set, I'm in shorts and t-shirt, and it's quite nippy. So I'm gonna head back inside, play with the dogs, and grab some tea. Once again, thanks a lot for following along. And from the 100-day project, day something or other, see you tomorrow.